Zwift users aren't going to like this video. Hi everyone, Mike here from Bikes by Mike with another cycling related video. It's cold outside and in my garage, so I'm staying in here where it's nice and warm. What can I talk to you without stepping foot outside? Indoor cycling apps. I'm going to present to you what I believe are the 3 best features of Rouvy that you either won't find in Zwift or that aren't as good in Zwift. Okay, let's get to it. So first, this video is not a comprehensive guide on how to use the Rouvy app, so I'm not going to cover off all of its features. There are lots of videos out there on that already. This really is for those viewers that know a bit about the indoor smart training landscape and those brands that play within the space. So chances are you've already heard of Rouvy and Zwift and some of their competitors, but maybe you're undecided as to which one to use and to subscribe to. I've looked at them all, and in my opinion, Rouvy is the best. And I'll show you 3 ways in which Rouvy blows away anything Zwift has to offer. Like all product reviews, I'm not being paid to say anything about Rouvy. I'm not sponsored by them, I don't get free merchandise, I don't get a discount on their subscription. Okay, we've got that out of the way. Let's continue. Today's video has 4 parts. I'll start by explaining a bit about the company and my experience with the Rouvy app. Next, I'll go through each of Rouvy's top 3 features that are distinct and better, in my opinion, than what Zwift has to offer. The first one is Rouvy's reality level. The second feature is the overall racing and group riding experience. And the last one is the ability to use Rouvy as a pre-race prep tool, which really is quite unique. I'm going to mention certain features that are not often talked about, so I'm hoping you'll stick with me until the end. Rouvy has a long history that goes back well over a decade. The original company was founded by 2 Czech brothers, Peter and Yuri Semek. They first became known to the public in 2011 when they partnered with the Ceres Group, the makers of Cyclops trainers. This is how I became aware of them. At the time, I owned a Cyclops 400 spin bike, so I naturally just started using their app by default. Actually, when I go into my training diary located on my Rouvy web portal, I can see that my very first ride with the app took place on October 27th, 2013, and is still on record today. It was just over an hour's ride up the famous Blue Ridge Parkway in North Carolina to Craggy Gardens, one of my all-time favorite routes. But I digress. The Rouvy we know today kicked off in 2017 with its current branding rename. This was a much needed push to modernize the platform, which was starting to look dated. But the big turning point for the software company was in 2018, when they rolled out their augmented reality feature, which took real-world videos of actual routes and overlaid animated 3D avatars of riders. Yes, it was a small step towards the true virtual reality we see today, but it was miles ahead of its competition at that time, and still is today. The next milestone for Rouvy was in the summer of 2021, when the Czech private investment company Pale Fire Capital invested $6 million into Rouvy with clear intentions to be the world's #1 mobile app for virtual training, and to grow its subscriber base to 2 million within 5 years. With the release of Rouvy's newest version just last month, we now see where some of that money has gone. The improvements are significant with a complete redesign of its user interface. Okay, enough about the company. Let's move on to my first Rouvy feature that I believe outperforms Zwift hands down. Rouvy, more than Zwift or any other app for that matter, replicates the outdoor cycling experience indoors. It's not perfect. Heck, they've probably only scratched the surface in what is possible in making indoor training feel like riding outdoors. But they are head and shoulders ahead of Zwift and most other smart training apps. In using real-world videos of actual routes, Rouvy's graphics have always led the field among its competition. But recent updates to its app have put it even further ahead. It does this in 3 very unique ways. First, it has a massive library of over 1,300 augmented reality or AR routes, covering 25,000 kilometers of roads from around the world. It has all the classic climbs like Mount Ventoux Alpe d'Huez, and Paso del Stelvio, as well as some much less popular routes like this one I've ridden dozens of times in the small town where I grew up. And this is just their AR routes, which unlocks the full functionality of their virtual world. There are thousands of non-AR routes, most created by users themselves, which cover an additional 245,000 kilometers of roads. Plus, new routes are being added to their library weekly. The second way it makes the indoor experience more real is with the augmented reality features, one of which is the use of animated 3D avatars of you and other riders on course. The realism of the avatars, both in terms of graphics as well as movements, improves year over year. It makes for a realistic riding experience, especially when group riding or racing, as it allows you to see other riders on course in perspective view. You can also draft behind them in very accurate and realistic ways. In addition to 3D avatars, Rouvy overlays a number of different features onto their videos, like course barriers, split time locations, billboards, and advertising, all of which adds to the realism of riding. And in one of the latest upgrades to its app, Rouvy added Strava Live segments to its AR routes to let you chase the KOM or QOM for that Strava segment. It definitely bumps up the intensity factor when you want to go really deep. The third and last way Rouvy has made indoor cycling more real is the addition of Omni-mode routes. These are high-res AR videos of routes where you have the option to choose from 3 different camera views, or to just let the app choose it itself. It's a fun feature on group rides or races where you want a better view of the riders around you. So for those of you that don't like a gamified environment and want to ride in virtual reality, or what Rouvy calls augmented reality, Rouvy is apps that takes you closest to that place. The second feature that outperforms Zwift is the overall racing and group riding experience. I emphasize experience here as Zwift has a very robust racing and group riding platform and enough subscribers to run a lot of events catering to different rider abilities. Not to mention they have tons of riders participating in these events. It's the experience part, I think, that gives Rouvy the advantage. It simply is more enjoyable to race against others on a real-world route, where you can view the terrain and landscape as it appears in real life. Unless, of course, you like the retro feel of video games of the 80s, then Zwift is probably for you. Combine Rouvy's real routes with 3D avatars and realistic drafting functionality, and it really does work well. And while most races don't attract hundreds of participants, you usually get enough riders to make it interesting and competitive. Plus, you can expect to see riders of all abilities participating, so you're sure to find at least a few riders close to your ability to make for tough racing. Or if you don't want the competition of racing, just join a group ride. Rouvy's third and final feature I'll pick as one that outperforms Zwift is as a pre-race preparation tool. This has 2 components, the routes and the workout library. Let's start with the routes. I mentioned earlier that Rouvy has a library of over 1,300 AR routes and is expanding its inventory weekly. The combination of both a large route collection and the realism of these routes makes it entirely unique among the smart trainer apps. And for those that want to best prepare for a goal event, it is a game changer. Essentially, it allows you to pre-ride a course virtually. For me, it was easily the best tool I had to prepare me for my Oat route races. True, it didn't have all the climbs in the race, but it did have many of the classics. As an example, for the 2023 Oat Route Dolomites, which I raced in, I could find 6 of the 11 climbs used in the 5-day race. Paso Umbrail from Bormio on stage 1, Paso Gavia on stage 2, which is another legendary climb, the entirety of the stage 3 time trial up Monte Bedoni, and all the 3 climbs in the final stage number 5, Paso João, Paso Campolongo, and Paso Valparolo. The one route which was missing, which I would have liked to recon, is the descent down the Gavia, because it has some super technical and dangerous switchbacks, plus a really long tunnel. Would have saved me a near-death experience. Being able to pre-ride all these climbs in Rouvy helped me work out a pacing strategy, which you just can't do accurately without pre-riding a course. Not only that, but I could race a climb virtually and compare it to the times of riders in past races to get a good idea of how I'll rank among my competition. I know this is a feature that won't be useful to a lot of riders, especially those that don't race, but for those wanting to pre-ride courses virtually, there simply is no other smart trainer app that can do this. The second way Rouvy can help with pre-race preparation is with structured workouts. Unlike with their AR routes, their workout library does have a lot in common with Zwift, TrainerRoad, and several other smart trainer apps. So I'm not going to say you'll find something new here that you've never seen before, but I will say that they've made noticeable improvements to their workout module in their last update to bring it up to the level of its competition. The user interface has been completely redesigned for the better, and more functionality has been added across the board, including for workouts. You can choose one of Rouvy's own structured training plans to follow, which typically run 4 weeks, or you can select individual workouts by filtering on the specific type of workout you're looking for. Want something in the 30 to 60 minute range? No problem. They have a couple dozen workouts to choose from. In total, they have 291 official workouts on the app. I use a combination of Rouvy's own workouts plus specific workouts I've created myself, such as my customized FTP ramp test. You can also choose to follow any route of your choice when doing a workout. So that's pretty much it for my top 3 Rouvy features that blow away Zwift. Tell me what you think. Is Rouvy the best in the business, or is Zwift still the top dog? Or is there one that beats them all? Add your comments below. That's all I got for today, folks. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, as it will allow me to produce more content for all of you. See you next time. Happy rolling.